Well, 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 folks. Let me say that again. It is one rough week here. It's some killing going on, and we need to talk about it, right?
Right now.
Well, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on, Essence, but we're going to get into this lady first right here. Her name is Lacy. Have we heard that name before?
I know you.
Was it Lacy Peterson? No.
Lacy, yeah.
The girl in Florida.
Yeah, Lacy.
Remember the girl in Florida?
Oh, was she Casey?
Casey, yeah, she killed her little daughter
little girl.
and stuff.
So I guess you get that AC in there. You get people who murder their children.
Yeah, her name is Lacy Spears. Like she no relation to Britney, So, but she, matter of fact, here, let me let y'all listen to it.
First, a 27-year-old mother found guilty today of poisoning her 5-year-old son with salt.
The jury in the Lacy Spears trial deliberated for 2.5 days, convicting Spears of second-degree murder. New at 5, we're hearing from a juror who heard all of the testimony. Eyewitness News reporter Joe Torres is outside the courthouse in White Plains with the latest. Joe?
Shadi and Diana, so many people did not want to believe the accusations in this case. A mother accused of repeatedly administering dangerous and ultimately a lethal dose of sodium into her son's feeding tube, all in an effort to gain sympathy on Facebook and social media. Well, today, a jury came up with a very concise term for what Lacy Spears did to her 5-year-old boy. It's called second-degree murder.
Guilty.
Is this verdict unanimous?
Yes.
Lacy Spears barely flinched as the jury foreman uttered the single word that turned the accused murderer into a convicted killer. Her sister and father consoled each other. After a 2-week trial and 2.5 days of deliberations, the panel found the 27-year-old mother guilty of second-degree murder in the January 2014 death of her 5-year-old son, Garnett.
She's probably in shock to some degree, but I'm not going to speculate about that and ask her how she was doing. But, I mean, if you put yourself in her position, I'm sure you can understand how she'd be feeling.
Prosecutors said Spears demonstrated utter disregard for her son's life by poisoning him with a lethal dose of sodium inserted through the boy's feeding tube, all in a desperate attempt to attract attention and gain sympathy. Alternate juror Andrew DiGiacomo heard all the arguments and listened to all the testimony.
Every piece of medical evidence suggested that the only way that he could have reached that high level of sodium was if he was poisoned, and the only person that could have poisoned him was her.
Spears will be sentenced early next month, and she can expect no sympathy from the district attorney.
First, a 27-year-old.
Can you believe that, folks? This woman, let me get rid of that echo. I'm amazed. Did you see her facial expression after she was convicted?
You know, you said I was heartless before with that preacher or whatever had got killed, but that's how I feel about her.
Did I say that about you?
Yeah, but that's how I feel about
you, huh?
That's how I feel about her.
You don't feel nothing for her, huh?
Yeah, I do. I feel hatred for her.
Oh, you feel?
Yeah, I feel something.
Well, let it out, girl. Let it out.
For her.
You need to let that out.
How do you do that?
You know what?
You know,
Write her some letters.
No.
Okay, because.
Can I lace the letters with cyanide or what's that stuff they put on them letters? Anthrax.
You know,
I'm a mail her some
have people
baby
come and
powder.
talking to us. Well,
if I knew where to get it, I'd send her some.
Okay, I know you would too.
No,
but
I mean, you know, we've seen things where people they snap, okay, and the baby's crying and they have postpartum depression and they murder their baby, or this world is so terrible,
or they were mentally ill, and drown them in a bathtub.
Or what's the lady who drove her babies into the lake or the
oh
pond
yeah,
or
and that
something?
happened in South Carolina. We're gonna get into some South Carolina stuff.
She did this over a period of time,
and for some sympathy, because she was blogging, trying to make people feel sorry for her. What kind of? But they want to look at me. They want to cross the street when I'm walking down the street. Oh, okay. They look at this fool up here. Look how they got him looking on.
Oh,
I mean,
shoot,
we ain't even
you had a picture of Prince up there. I just caught it out the corner.
Bon Jovi or somebody, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caught me for a second.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into that killer too. But this killer right here, that's to me, that's white on white crime, and she's a terrorist. She plotted that murder of her own son.
But you know, that interview.
But they would never say that. They don't want to say that.
No, that interview made it look like, oh, but she's getting justice. However, you know, they were saying that, no, she wasn't going to get any sympathy. The sentence for what she did should have been 25 years to life. The judge only gave her 20 years, saying she has Munchausen's by proxy.
He said that.
Yeah. And I had to go look that up because I remember, you know, watching TV because we media people, so we watch TV.
Yes, we have to analyze it.
Yes, that's the only reason I watch it. Anyway, I remember watching like House.
Right.
And they would talk about, you know, they have people who kept coming back and et cetera, and they would say Munchausen's or whatever. But typically somebody who has Munchausen's goes from place to place and they just lie about themselves.
Right.
Then you got Munchausen's by proxies, where they lie or cause harm to somebody to get sympathy. Because they go, oh, I'm the caregiver. And usually it's the doctors they trying to get sympathy from. This woman trying to get sympathy from the internet. From the internet.
Man, I know the internet is addicting, but damn.
How many people on the internet lie all the time to make people think they something that they not? No, all she had to do was lie. She didn't actually have to.
She didn't really have to do it, huh?
She
could have just took bad pictures, tell him to lay down in the bed, and took some pictures and stuff.
She sympathy just by lying. She didn't have to hurt that boy.
Nothing would have happened to her if she would have been lying, unless she took some money or something.
And she tortured him.
Yeah, her own son.
And his feeding tube. We don't know. Heck, that baby may not have never even needed a feeding tube if she hadn't probably done something to
before
him prior
that. And I've seen some shows about mothers who've done that to their kids. That disease you was just talking about, where they, you know, they see the sickness all the time.
And they get away with it all the time. That's why when you was talking about, like, you know, the white on white crime, it made me think about there's the worst one was Tenny. What was this woman's name? I know her last name was Tenner. And in the course of 10 years or 11 years, 9 of her children died, including one that was adopted. She literally lost a child, got some sympathy, and then 3 weeks later, lost another child. 2 weeks later, lost another child, and those were all her children. So she had another child, and then killed it. And she kept having. They even after 5 kids that she done had and killed, they let her adopt a child, and she killed.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Get out of here.
I am dead serious.
They let her adopt a child.
They let her adopt a child.
Man, what is this country? Man, we're going to get into some of that stuff. So now.
Mary Beth Tenney.
Mary Beth. I think I seen a special on her on TV on them cold cases or one of them type of shows like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they let her adopt another child.
Now,
this wasn't before she got convicted of all that. I mean, after she got convicted of all that.
No, it was before she only got convicted of the last
So
child.
they was giving her a child because they figured, wait, she lost some. She need to.
Yeah, they called it. They said, oh, well, she must just have a death gene. It's unlucky. All of her children
So if we give her one and she don't birth one, it's going to be okay. It'll be okay.
And he died too.
Get out of here.
Same thing.
Now, did anything happen to that agency?
No. Nothing happened to the agency. Nothing happened to the hospital. She went to the same hospital every time a child died.
Get out of here.
And even one of her children was about 3 years old. He made it to 3 before she killed him. And then they said that he died of SIDS. How do you die of sudden infant death syndrome when you're not an infant?
He died of SIDS? Wow.
Sudden infant death syndrome. But
I heard of that woman too.
But you're almost 4 years old.
That don't make any sense, huh?
None whatsoever. But that's white on white crime for you. It don't make any sense.
It doesn't, huh?
And it's in the way, you know, news gets reported. It's like I don't even know whether I should talk about it now. Talk about it later.
You just don't know.
I was watching the morning news this morning here in LA. And they had several, you know, it's LA. It's millions of people. There's always some drama going on. And there were 6, like, violent crime stories. 5 of them had white suspects. But they all would have, like, a picture of the suspect or a picture of the scene where it happened, a burglary, a stalking, somebody stalking Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, I've seen little bits and pieces of that.
a woman was stabbed while walking her dog in the park. Burglaries. Officer shot a murder suspect, but they just showing like still.
And he was white.
Exactly, that's my point. He was a white murder suspect, and he was shot by an officer. But we just get a still picture of an officer car for that. They had one crime that was committed by a black person that was a sexual assault, and they ran that thing for about 3 minutes with the sirens and the cars and the perp walk.
And what do I always say when there's a cop shooting and then there's the cops look bad, the media, they're gonna show nothing but black crime, especially in punk ass Southern California, especially here. They've been showing black crime differently here forever, man, and nobody say nothing. And black people here will watch it like it's no big deal. Like they be into it too. Like, oh my God, they don't think of any stereotypes. They don't even realize how many there's white gangs in Southern California, not just the biker gangs.
Yeah.
But no one ever. Sometimes I be sitting there looking at my coworkers going, and they be into it like, oh my God. And if it's a police chase, man,
just sit down.
They might as well get their popcorn. I swear to God, get your popcorn. They'll get on the phone, start calling other people, and you be sitting there like, man, do you know what they doing in the media? They have no clue.
I'm telling you, there has to be some type of a syndrome or something for that because people are victims of the media. Like,
it's called mental illness.
But I mean,
they've been emotionally abused
for so long that you know, because there's one.
What's
where
that when you come back from war?
Where you PTSD. Yeah, I definitely think a lot of people have that. But it's another one where the people like they fall in love with the person who's been torturing them.
That's how it is in America.
That's what
exactly. That's how it is, and you can't really blame them because if you think about it, look at this next situation right here. This guy right here. Now, this has been all over the media, right? This the Boston bomber, right? Now, you know he was just convicted. He was convicted of 30 counts, and we all knew he was going to get convicted.
Yeah,
he didn't sit there. They sat there, told us about how he looked. I
don't even know why he pled not guilty.
Now, why was this not filmed? Maybe because the state of Massachusetts doesn't do that, right? So we always know that, right? Or do they pick and choose which cases they're going to present to the public?
I don't know if the state of Massachusetts doesn't do. You might be right, but I do know that judges also have the power to allow or not allow cameras in the courtroom.
Right, and so, but the whole time, this man is a terrorist, right? But the whole time, we've never got any pictures of him doing like he looking like a criminal.
No, he always looks like a kid.
He always got this kind of look on his face.
A rock star.
Look, this is what they did. This is Rolling Stone magazine. Come on, what kind of shit is that?
That's insane. You know, we see terrorists. We supposed to see them in handcuffs and with their head shaven and look like they ate us.
Yeah.
Do something.
Man, I'm sitting there going, okay, so now we got that terrorist suspect who's been convicted. We had that guy at the shoe bomber. We had that guy at LAX last year who got caught, and all young white males.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, white males still don't have that stigma. Isn't that amazing?
Because we get pictures like that instead of live action.
And how many young girls you think sent this fool some letters?
Oh, I'm sure you got some young girls that sit there
now,
some panties.
You know some people sent this fool a letter, but they want to get outraged when this man got letters. And what's his name?
Mumia.
Mumia.
What did he do? I just remember.
No, this is what he did.
Sing about him.
You mentioned it earlier when you said something about the local news showing crime. Because I always say they're going to start. I was going to come on the show today and say, watch now because of that brother. We're going to talk about that brother in South Carolina in a minute. Because that brother got shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, watch they start showing black crime all the time, right? They start bringing up the man, well, we'll get into that. But the reason why I brought up this brother is because now Fox News basically is the only ones who's running that, right?
Well, that tell you what
they ran this story about him getting letters from third graders because they put on their cop killer. Now you know why they did that, because what was on the other network channels? the brother in South Carolina. So
Getting
instead of
killed
Fox
by a
News
cop.
going to that story, they might have did like 1 minute on the brother in South Carolina and did a whole segment, and that's how they tricked the American public. And because you're sitting there going like, can't you see the only reason why? Can't you see?
And that's what they call no slant, no rant television.
Yeah, what they call that, no spin zone. Man, you spin some shit right there.
Some dizzy motherfuckers right there.
Because I'm sitting there going, look at this man. Look at him. I'm sitting there going, I wish I had his name up there. But apparently, he was convicted of killing a cop 30 years ago, and they bring this up. 30 years ago, Fox News just brought this up. This man probably been getting letters for 30 years, but they saved these type of stories so when something happened to a black person and people will start feeling sorry for them, because once we get to that story in South Carolina, what else can you feel? You have to be one sorry motherfucker if you don't feel
You have to be Lacy Spears.
Yes, you have to be. Well, maybe that's what they are. They just got a killing gene. Because, and plus, this man, when he was busted for killing, some people thought he was innocent because at the time the FBI was killing a lot of black revolutionary, Black Panthers and stuff. Was kicking their door in, just bow.
Just pow. And
Fred and all them, Fred Hampton and all them in Chicago, Oakland, Harlem, Atlanta.
I like how you said that like he was your homeboy, Fred.
Yeah, they always. Come on now. And so I'm sitting there like, Fox News. But as we always say, this is America. America, I know y'all don't want to hear this because I say it every week. I'm gonna do like the news. You know how they just keep showing black crime, just keep showing black stereotypes, and just pounding their head. I'm just gonna say this every week. America's the dumbest country, and I don't want to hear all these opportunities or go back in it. This is how dumb America is. We got to go to the Middle East to get our doctors. All the opportunities in this country, all the education, we have more colleges than all the countries and worlds combined, but we got to go to the Middle East to get our doctors.
In India.
And that's what I'm saying.
And everywhere else.
Come on. We got to go get foreigners.
Because we do stupid stuff like
But I know what's happening. I'm going to do a special on this. The power structure, they trying to turn America into one big ghetto, and they putting the blackface on the ghetto. So instead of white America realizing what the power structure doing and start looking at them, they looking at black people. And you know I say it all the time. I want to bring it home. I want to breathe it in your head.
That sounds exactly like what Hitler did. He made where he put that
that propaganda out there. That propaganda. Yeah, because you don't. If you're trying to look good but still want to get rid of people, you don't just go and start killing people because then other people start looking, what's going on? So you make them look bad first. Like if you know, nothing against you women, but sometimes you women do that. Knowing goodness well y'all want to break up with someone and y'all don't break up with him because he might be a good guy and all the friends and stuff like him or whatever, right? So what y'all start doing is start putting them negative stories out on him. He came home 1 minute late.
No,
it's
got to be at least 30 minutes. Come on.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll start hearing a lot of negative stuff about him before she break up, and that way, oh, you finally got rid of him? Yeah, he was sorry. Because who want to break up with a good man? And that's how it is in America. They got to make stuff look bad before they really do something because they want to still look clean and be, you know what I'm saying? So it's like.
So you saying men just walk away when they ready to walk away?
Or sometimes men don't even break up. They just keep doing they wrong until they get caught. Because they don't have that same guilt feeling or that same, that same guilty. Some men do, but a lot of men, they don't feel guilty about their wrong, so they don't even have to play that mind game. They just do it. And, of course, they'll lie about it. But, not to get off subject, but that's what I'm thinking. It's like, because why would Fox News just start showing this man right here? Why would they do it? Just start showing the man. I mean,
if anything, they should be showing Lacy.
They didn't do one thing on Lacy.
They haven't done anything on. They should be showing her. And then what they did show, she won't get no sympathy. You know she got less time than she was supposed to get.
Yeah.
She only got 20 years, which means she could be out in 10 years, which means she'll be young enough to have more kids.
And she probably will, just like they gave that one lady, as you said, they gave her.